Welcome back to Briggs on Books. I'm Mike Briggs, and we come to you every day at this time and talk about books. What are you going to read next? How do you pick your next book anyway? Well, we found that by having our guests come on the show who are authors, you get to meet them and learn a little bit about them and their book, and hopefully that will help you find the next book you want to read. By the way, I love mob books, organized crime books. I used to love the Godfather, watching Sopranos and stuff like that. And it just made me start looking for books to read along those lines. And we found this great book and this great author. Let me see if I can find him. There he is. B.G. Howard. Welcome, B.G.
Hi, Mr. Briggs. How are you?
Tell our guests where you are.
I'm located in North Florida, Jacksonville to be exact.
Oh, yeah. And it's sunny out. You already rubbed that in. The rest of the country is freezing.
Sunshine State.
Sunshine State, that's right. And by the way, before we get too far, I want to show the viewers the book. I think this was the first book, Family Ties.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The Family Ties, the original Family Ties Thicker Than Blood was my first publication.
And that is a crime drama. I call them mobsters. More, maybe it's better to say organized crime book.
That's a little more tactful, yes.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit. Here's the cover for our viewers. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, it concerns the story of a young man who relocates to New York, and he inadvertently saves the life of a gentleman who happens to be a crime boss, and he takes him under his wing, and the story persists from there.
Go.
The activities of the organized crime and his interest in a would-be police officer. That makes it interesting.
Oh, okay. Now, something you had something big happen in your life, and kind of as your therapy after you turned to writing. Can we say what happened?
Oh yeah. So I'm trying to get past that part of my life, but it did shape who I am. I was self-employed, had a couple of businesses, and one fateful day in August of 2001, I had a terrible accident. Fast forward 9+ years of rehabilitative therapy, and
Oh boy.
here I am.
Now, your book is set in. Well, going backwards, the reason I ask that is we hear this from a lot of people. They had a traumatic thing in their life, and after they became authors, they just, that was their therapy to help them work through things. So,
Right.
Whatever happened, sorry it happened, but it gave us this great book. As a result, we ended up with this great book. Now, the book is set in New York. Had you lived in New York?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, for a period of about 7 to 10 years. I don't remember exactly because I lost my memory as a result of the accident. But I think it was like about 7 to 10 years I lived in New York City.
Well, your book's set in New York. Did you have to do research for street names and locations and things like that?
Ironically, no. I mean, I lost my memory, but we had the benefit of, excuse me, we had the benefit of the internet.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at what Google can give you.
Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure. Now, the book came out, and back to the cover of the first book, which is Family Ties, Thicker Than Blood. Great cover, by the way.
Thank you.
What year did this come out?
The original came out in 2020, and honestly, it wasn't until then that I went back to research how to write a novel. And that's what facilitated the current, the most notable publication, revised edition.
Okay.
Family Ties Thicker Than Blood. I simply went back and revised it and configured it to better line up with the part 2.
Nice. Now, then you wrote. Did you do the revision after part 2 or before part 2?
Actually, it was the part 2 was pretty much already done because both of the novels were facilitated from the actual manuscript. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I think the original word count for my manuscript was around 177,000 words.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't until after I made the decision to publish it that I went back and read. Actually, I had published it, and I went back and read to find out that there are only 80,000 words, 60 to 100. I'm sorry, 80 to 100,000 words in each novel.
Yeah.
So then I had enough content to produce two novels.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Wow. And so book two came out of book. Now, is the non-revised version floating around out there?
Yes, the first one, the original one, Family Ties Thicker Than Blood. But when I look back at it, I realized that there are things in Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant, that did not exactly line up with what had happened in the first edition. So that's why I had to revise it. Basically, I went back and added a little meat to the bones, if you will.
Nice. Now, well, the reason I'm asking is I want our viewers to get the right version. If you go to Amazon, you're going to get the correct version probably anyway, right?
I'm trying. Yes, short answer. I'm trying to remove altogether the original version. So what you want to look for is revise. Make sure you input revised edition, Family Ties Thicker Than Blood.
Okay, revised edition. Okay, now I haven't shown this yet. Here's book two, Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant. Tell us a little bit about that. It picks up where the first one leaves off, I would imagine.
Correct. It's picks up the story. As a matter of fact, what I did, because again, I was still learning this process. I had never written a book before. And so the idea was the first chapter of Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant, is a brief review of
Nice.
the revised edition.
Nice.
So you can read the first chapter of the second book, and though it won't exactly sync, but as you read through it, it'll line up, because it's a segue chapter, and it's essentially a brief review of the first novel.
Yeah. It sounds like you learned a lot in this process.
Oh, I'm still learning.
Still learning, yeah.
It's like life. At the point that you know everything, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, when you finally get to know everything. Now, what's going on now? Is there another book in your head, or have you started writing another one?
Well, I think I left Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant. I left off with that one where I can, if I choose, come back and pick up and complete another installment.
Nice.
But I'm not really a big fan of sequels.
Yeah.
So I decided to hold off on that. I'm writing another novel. It's actually independent of the Family Ties series.
Okay.
But I started working with a marketing coach, and he actually has me in the process of designing. Excuse me. I'm designing an author writing program. Something that I had not planned on doing, but the first novel, revised edition, technically the second novel, the revised edition netted me a Best Fiction Award in 2023, and then the second installment, the current installment, Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant, netted another Best Fiction Award from the Distinguished Authors Guild this year. So I was in the process of writing another, but then I decided to hold off on that because the actual author writing program is supposed to launch probably by June of this year.
Now, I talked early on about how you choose. I mean, I read every day. That's all I do. I read all day books. I talk to authors when I'm not reading, and like I said, and there's millions of books out there. So how do you pick a book? Well, I like to meet the author like we're doing here, and let our viewers meet the author. And the book covers, believe it or not, make a difference for me. And then if the book got some notices, like some awards and good reviews, those are important to me. So it sounds like you got it all going, BG.
I'm trying. It's as you stated, there are so many books out there. It is really a tough market.
And of course, I look for crime dramas and mob books and organized crime and things like that. That's what the genre I like to read. So you fit right into that. But I think these books, it sounds like it doesn't have to be a nerd like me that likes that genre, but anybody. It seems like anybody would enjoy these books.
Well, I like to think of them as being well-rounded, because they actually speak to life in general. I've had people read the novel and come back and tell me, for example, there's this one individual. She contacted me directly, and she said it was like I was sitting, because she lives in the city,
Mm-hmm.
but she said it's like I was sitting on a stoop, looking out the window at the characters.
Ah,
And she said, it would get me so engrossed. I would become so engrossed. I found myself screaming at the characters.
nice, nice.
I like that because anytime a book or novel pulls you into it,
Yep.
it pulls you into the story, you feel like you're part of the story.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it's fun that characters are definitely New York characters, and people could tell that. So that's fun. By the way, I have your web address on the screen, author bghoward.com. What would our viewers find there on your webpage?
Well, it's actually about more than just the novels. I write a weekly opinion column for the newspaper back home in Georgia.
Oh.
And I post that content on, I have 2 blog pages on the website.
Nice.
One is called In the Gray Matter. If you look for that blog page, it contains weekly columns that I write for the newspaper, and nothing specific. I mean, there's just random topics that come to my mind when I'm writing. And then there's another page called Points to Ponder. Those are all original philosophical quotes that I usually think of when I can't sleep at night.
Ah, that's nice. I love philosophical quotes. I'm going to look at that. I love opinion pieces. We'll see if we have the same opinion or if we have different opinions.
I think a little bit differently than most people, so
That's
it'll
good.
be interesting.
BG, we're just running out of time. I want to give you a minute in case there's anything we missed, anything you wanted the viewers to know that we didn't get to today.
Well, none other than the fact that, like you, I enjoyed the read. My situation is a little bit more challenging than most because I cannot actively read a novel while I'm working on one of my productions. I tried that and I found myself incorporating chapters of the book that I read or was reading into my novel. So I realized very quickly that I can't do that. But other than that, just the fact that you can look for the Just Right author writing program,
Just right.
to be launched this summer. I'll do some free teachings, free teachings in February, March, and possibly April. But by June we should be full speed ahead with the author writing program, and it's called Just Right.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many of our viewers could probably make use of that. So many people out there that we talk to that are writing books and they just can't seem to get there to the finish point. You did it twice or even 3 times maybe, BG. I appreciate. Oh, and I hope you come back on the show when that's out so we can talk about it some more.
Definitely.
Yeah. And thanks for coming on the show. And I want to say to our viewers, first of all, go order this book. Where can they get the book, BG?
Well, the best place to get it is contact me directly.
Perfect.
AuthorBGHoward.com is the website. My email, bg@authorbghoward.com. I do have supplies on hand, and of course, if you request a copy from me, I can sign it for you at no additional charge. And all you do is pay for the novel and shipping, and I can get it to you.
I love to order directly from the author.
Other than that, you can look for them on Amazon.com, Goodreads.com, BarnesandNoble.com, all the popular .com sites.
All right. Thank you, B.G. Howard, and stick around. We're going to have another author right after this.